We start off the episode with 3 starships and the Shrike finding the Titan's decoy transponders. Vadic is getting frustrated with it and gives a speech claiming that they will have vengeance. One of the crewmen point out maybe they should consider a new plan. Then Vadic asks her right-hand man, or changeling, to kill the person speaking out of turn. So, first off, I love that Plummer is chewing up the scenery. She just feels like an original series villain. Second, she kills her subordinate very much like Krug, the villain from Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. Third, Vadic comes off majorly hypocritical for someone wanting to bring unity to changelings and just straight up killing one of her subordinates. She asks for any associate of Picard, and I guess all her subordinates are cool with it, killing one of their crew. Back on the Titan, Beverly says that Jack has Rheumatoid syndrome, something Picard incidentally passed on to him. From what I understand, this is the same disease that Picard died from back in season 1 of Picard, and then he got put into a robot body. Beverly tells Picard to talk to him and unburden him, while Jack is drinking at the holodeck 10 forward. Man, they are really getting mileage out of this set, aren't they? As Picard meets up with him, they mention again that Picard didn't survive the disease and that he's technically a robot.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Jack is notably very pissed off that he has the disease, and that it's very ironic that all those years Beverly tried to shelter him from the burden of being Picard's son and protect him from the dangers of being that son. She couldn't protect him from the genetic aspect of it. Jack leaves when Seven calls Picard. We hear the iconic transporter noise. As we see Worf and Raffi, Worf just rips into Chateau Picard.
And the annual bottle of sour mead.
Sour mead?
Chateau Picard. It is quite tart, sir.
Well, I guess Spock said it best, though to a different captain of the Enterprise.
Commanding a starship is your first best destiny. Anything else is a waste of material.
Beverly hugs Worf, and Raffi tells Picard that Worf meditates now. We get a small reference to Seven and Raffi's relationship, but Seven seems a bit standoffish. I guess she ain't interested in her. The Titan beams off, but where's the La Sirena? I guess that'll pop up eventually. Worf gives a recap of Deep Space Nine for those who have not seen it. Basically, Starfleet gave the changelings a virus, however, Starfleet, or rather Odo, gave a cure to the changelings.
So we burgle the very institution hunting us.
Excellent use of the word burgle, Admiral.
Since the break-in, the station...
Love that bit. So they hatch a plan to use the device mentioned in last week's episode to get access to the station. The Titan hides behind the moon as Worf and Raffi head to the transporter. Again, we get a reference to Seven and Raffi's relationship, and Worf just says,
I have gone into battle with lovers countless times. It can be therapeutic.
I'm not going.
That is a relief. I was practicing deceit. Breakups on my home world seldom end without bloodshed.
I just love Worf. He's so great this season. Riker is also going with Worf and Raffi.
Captain Riker.
Worf, call me Will, come on.
You should know that I now prefer pacifism to actual combat. Energize.
Or I'm gonna die.
Definitely a based Riker line right there. They beam into the station where the security system is alerted, and as they use the device to break in, we get a hint of Brent Spiner's voice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. And please, no food or beverages in the research area.
So, has there been an incident with Section 31 where someone came in with a sandwich, or someone spilt coffee that unleashed a deadly plague? Starships warp in surrounding the place even though they haven't done anything to alert Starfleet's presence. Picard gets an idea to go to the location 8th and Prime. Picard tells Worf they'll be back in less than an hour as they head off. Riker, Raffi, and Worf enter Daystrom Station as Worf tells Raffi that a lot of the things stored at the station are table scraps for Section 31. Riker knows of the organization, to which I think it's fair to say that Section 31 is common knowledge after the Dominion War. Though in Discovery, I believe it was referenced a lot in Season 2, so in this new era of Trek, it's a household name. Parsing through, we see a second version of the Genesis device, to which we hear some of James Horner's score, as we pass by James T. Kirk's body from Generations. He isn't dead. Thank the Lord. If you read the text, you can make out that his body is in critical condition and that it is part of a Project Phoenix. So there you have it. Kirk is still alive. We even hear the Star Trek fanfare. And yes, this is the Kirk from Generations, because it also says that he assisted Captain Picard back on Viridian 3. So it is the Captain James T. Kirk that died in Generations, which is so cool that Terry just thought, yeah, that was crap. I am going to just keep him alive. And this may hint at the canonicity of the Return series, the Star Trek Return novel, which was written by William Shatner. Then we also see a genetically modified Tribble, which Worf was taken aback by, because back in Deep Space Nine, it is established that the Klingons fought the Tribbles. The security system identifies Riker as a holographic crow passes by. Very much a reference to the episode Birthright.
We will not be prey. We will be friendly energy.
I don't understand the world anymore.
Yeah, me too, Riker. Me too. Riker says that there is something familiar about the crow as Worf finds the mainframe. Music plays as Riker identifies one of the notes as Moriarty enters the show.
I think, therefore I act.
Professor Moriarty.
Greetings, old friends.
The Titan arrives at 8th and Prime, as it's the location of Starfleet's Fleet Museum. It's said that this is the original space dock. Yes, the original space dock. And we get a bunch of references to the ships of the past. Like, I ain't even gonna want to identify it. I'll just leave it to Trek channels. But I will say that one of the ships is the Enterprise NX-01 refit, which is a reference to Enterprise's 5th season we never got, making the untold story kind of canon. They are hailed by Geordi as he ain't in the best of moods. Geordi and Alondra beam on, and it's a sweet reunion. There is some tension between Geordi and Sydney, and Jack picking up on it. Picard is about to introduce Jack, but Geordi wants to get straight down to business. Geordi has objected to Starfleet about showing off the entire fleet at Frontier Day, so glad it wasn't just Ro who thought it was a bad idea. Alondra says she'll try to talk to their dad about the situation, while Jack and Sydney walk off together. Am I sensing something, Terry? Geordi informs Picard that the Titan is a huge beacon in and of itself, as each of the starships are integrated together and talk to each other. So yeah, whoops. Riker, Raffi, and Worf try to run from Moriarty, and Will establishes that this Moriarty isn't the same one as back in TNG. Throughout this, music is playing and Will identifies the notes. We cut to a flashback, back to Encounter at Farpoint, the first episode of TNG, where Moriarty disappears saying "marvelous." The mainframe opens up, and it is revealed that the AI that was protecting the station was Data himself. Geordi tells Picard he can't help. Alondra mentions Hangar Bay 12, which I bet that won't become relevant later on. Alondra tells Sydney that she didn't have any luck. Jack sits in the captain's chair.
Off.
I'm just trying it out.
I really like Seven and Jack together. I think they have wonderful chemistry together. Seven cycles through the ships with Jack identifying them. We see the second Defiant with DS9 music. We see an original series model Constitution class ship, like not Strange New Worlds Constitution, I'm talking like the 60s model. And it is a cute continuity nod to pre-established canon.
There's one in the Fleet Museum, but then of course, this is your enterprise.
It's named the USS New Jersey, NCC 1975. Hang on. Huh. Cute, Terry. Then we see Jack and my personal favorite ship out of the lot, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701A, or known by many and, well, in this universe, everyone, Kirk's Enterprise, since he was the only one to command the ship. And it's fitting that the ship that ended the original series cast makes a cameo in the final voyage of the Next Generation crew's last story. We even get the OG music.
But this one is my personal favorite. Kirk's Enterprise. All those perfectly clean retro lines. Yep, I'm definitely a Constitution class man.
Me too, kid. Me too. Finally, we see a ship dear to Seven's heart. We get its original theme as the previous ships, the USS Voyager, a beautiful moment with Seven reminiscing about the past, as Jack gives a speech like his old man.
We all long for connection. We're all just a little bit alone, aren't we? Stars in the same galaxy, but light years between us.
Oh, you are definitely your father's son.
A great moment with the two. And we see a Klingon bird of prey, or the HMS Bounty, which, yes, the name is important to the episode, and they even mention the whales. So it turns out that when it sank at the bottom of the San Francisco Bay, the cloaking device activated, which Jack gets a little twinkle in his eye. Back on Days from Station, Riker, Raffi, and Worf play a message by Alton Soong, who was the son of Dr. Noonien Soong. So he was in Picard's first season and the guy who created the robo-body. Turns out the bastard is dead. So the guy who gave us Robo-Picard is dead. Well, I only see one appropriate clip to play. As Soong talks in his log about the idea of evolution is addition, we see ships of the past, the NX-01 as stated before, the Klingon ships evolving from the ones from the motion picture to the Bird of Prey, to the refit Constitution Enterprise A, to the refitted Neo Constitution Titan A. We then cut back to the Titan as Geordi talks about Sydney being stubborn like he is. It's a great moment between Picard and Geordi. Alton soon elaborates that the new Golem or Robo-Body will have an assortment of androids like Lol, who is the daughter of Data, before the proto-android that had a copy of Data, Lore, which I'm not sure if that's really a good idea, Doctor, like, not gonna lie, that's far-fetched. But he said that a lot of the android would be Data, and that the android would be able to age, and through that it can be a better version of all of them. Picard says they are leaving, as he tells Sydney Geordi wants to speak to her. Geordi tries to convince her to stay with him so that she has no blame in the events that transpired. However, Sydney doesn't want to leave. She believes in everything her dad said when he was back on the old Enterprise, and views her new crew as part of her family. Picard and Seven go to find Shaw as the kids speak.
Brilliant. Oh, and just to be clear, I caused quite a lot of this. And your sister, on more than one occasion, has flown us out of the mess I made. Rather wonderfully, I might add.
Jack, stop thinking with your phaser.
Let's reset our phasers.
Thank you, Alondra. Jack comes up with the idea of minor larceny. Riker, Raffi, and Worf realize that Data is the manifest that they need. However, Starfleet has found them. Riker calls Picard, but Picard is still at the museum. Shaw geeks out over Geordi, and that's awesome.
Mr. LaForge, as a former engineer, I just wanted to say what an honor it is to have you on board.
Captain, your hull is battered, bruised, and basically paper thin. You're spewing fumes through layers of 21st century duct tape.
Yeah, it's been a weird week.
However, a wave of translucent energy phases by. It turns out that the Titan has become cloaked. Geordi grills into Picard as he tries to reassure him, until the realization hits them both.
Jack, Sydney, have you any idea, Jean-Luc, how many Federation treaties this violates?
Well, I guess they'll just have to add it to my tab.
As Jack and Sydney try to integrate it into the Titan, it starts to overheat when Geordi comes in to stop it and help fix it.
Stay away from my daughter.
Hey, it's hard to resist Jack. That smooth son of a bitch is charming. Just like another Jack.
Captain Jack Harkness.
Still Pate.
Can I say hello to anyone?
John, I do not protest, though.
Maybe later, Blue.
Picard informs Riker, Raffi, and Worf that they will get them cloaked.
Cloaked with what?
My guess, superior Klingon technology.
They also need to take Data because he is the manifest, even though it will allow Starfleet to get through. Starfleet has breached security, and in a boss move, Riker whips out his phaser and buys Worf and Raffi time. Riker is hit, inhibiting being transported, as the Titan beams up Worf, Raffi, and Data. We get this great moment with Geordi looking at Data. The facial expressions are wonderfully acted, considering the last time he saw his friend. He left to save Picard and then he died. Jack tells Picard that he inherited a lot of attributes from his mom, but he also says that he inherited a lot of attributes from Picard himself, which is a great little moment between father and son. Even though Picard has passed on a disease to Jack, he also passed on a lot of positive attributes.
Because evolution is not an act of preservation. It's addition.
We get reconciliation with Sydney and Geordi as they activate Data, and while it would be eye-rolling that Sydney would know a bit more than Geordi, it makes sense considering that Sydney says that the reason why she crashed a lot of those ships, which was established back in episode 1, the reason why she did that was to spend more time with her dad and learn more from him, which is a very wonderful bit of father and daughter. It's also said that the new android will be something more than Data. He is also very much near human. When activated, Data looks over at Geordi and man, their first interaction is perfect.
Geordi?
These two were the best of friends in the Next Generation series, though it was lost a little in the movies. He is synthetic, but also human. When asked what was stolen, he replies with Jean-Luc Picard. He repeats it until another personality takes over, one who is an absolute prick.
And more.
Then switches again.
I am before.
Then another.
I'm soon.
It's great acting from Brent, who has to play different characters of himself, and the fact that he was able to go through showing all three in such small succession was great to see. When asked again from Picard, Data shows them what was stolen, and it's Picard's actual human remains. What could the changelings want with Picard's body? Back on the station, Riker is being tortured, interrogated, when he has a phaser stuck in his forehead. Unfazed, he stares down his executioner. Yes, just beautiful. The officer then kills the two behind him, and it's revealed that it was Vadic.
Hi.
Oh, look at this one. How much of that goose shit did they pour into you?
I mean, you knew it was coming, right? It's revealed that Vadic stole the one person Will would betray his friends for.
Oh, Will.
Ending the episode. Episode 6 is a respectful trip down memory lane with a purpose. If you think it's just member berries on overload, you're wrong. The purpose of this episode was to show the history of Star Trek, how much time has evolved. We get my favorite reference where Captain Kirk is still alive, and unlike other remains, this one has vital signs. This episode is about adding on to our legacy, what we pass down to our kids, and as the name says, adding the HMS Bounty's cloaking device to the USS Titan. The original era crew essentially helping this crew save the day. We get great character moments, story progression, and a really strong cliffhanger this episode. This is probably my favorite episode so far, and I've said that about every episode, but it's really going to be hard to top this episode. It honors what came before while making way for things to come. And even though there have been faults, the sheer history of Star Trek is vast, and the fact that Terry is honoring what came before without flat out copying is great to see. This episode is fan service, but since when did fan service become bad? I remember when fan service was a fun and cool things to see. Like, it was great. Now it's shameful. Here's the thing. Fan service is great when it isn't the main thing. Unlike Star Wars Episode 7, when it was just a new hope, this episode's fan service serves a point within the universe and to us fans. I think this is a strong episode, and I can't wait to see next week's episode. If you like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting, and even sharing the video. Thank you, everyone who have supported this series by watching and just subscribing, commenting, all that. You've been great and wonderful. Thank you all. Take care and have a good one.